What we have in the studio, Emmanuel Tremantinge Jakong. He's a member of parliament for the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency, East Legon, you know, the plashed areas of Accra. Just little areas that will be Perium, semi-deprived, you know, plash, Jaulu, plash areas. So, but we have a former member of parliament also for North Dying. I know that many of his constituents are giving him pressure to again contest. I don't know whether he will. George Lowe is in the studio. Good morning to you, George Lowe.
Good morning, Roland.
You contest again, won't you?
I wonder where you get your information
I visit your constituency often. I have to be truthful to you.
Yeah, but Roland, we are in 2017.
Anyway, let me leave that one. So, good morning to you too, sir.
Hi, Roland. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Good morning to you and to my very good friend George.
Great morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Anyway, so
good morning to viewers.
You know, the president is in Northern Ghana undertaking a number of developments. I believe yesterday and the day before it was around Upper West, Laura and the rest, and talking about roads, etc. Yeah. The president said that apparently the road fund had been depleted by the elsewhile NDC government. They had promised that a number of roads had been done. He'd gone round and he hadn't seen them. Yeah. Because he was telling them certain roads in the area needed to be done.
Yeah.
What do you make of his visit to those areas? Almost like the thank you tour undertaken by the former president too.
Not really.
Not the thank you tour in disguise?
No, I think that this goes beyond the thank you tour. He is president of the country, and it is important. It probably is even a constitutional requirement. I don't think it is, but I think that as quote unquote the boss, it is necessary for him to touch base occasionally. I think this is what he is doing. I believe that he is finished with the thank you tours long ago. The politicking is over. The real hard work is on now. Yes, he said that, and it is a matter of fact that the previous government went ahead and borrowed money against 1.5 billion from a local bank against the
road fund.
The road fund. I don't even know if it is right to do that. You know,
why not?
The budget is a year by year thing. Somebody must educate me. You know, but they went ahead and borrowed 1.5 million and pledged takings from subsequent years to offset that borrowing. So it's an election year. In a bid to impress the people, you go ahead and borrow money. The first time in the history of this country that something you pledge the whole road fund against giving the money to do it. Well, so that is the situation we are in. But let me say that any observer will admit that at least some work is being done on the roads. I believe that this government will continue to find the wherewithal to ensure that our roads are motorable. So what the president said is factual. I mean, you guys do something called a fact check, don't you? It is factual. They borrowed money against the road from a bank.
And so that means that the road fund is depleted in a way.
Well,
I think that's a bone of contention.
When you pledge the takings on a fund, the road fund is not some money that is sitting there. It is derived from tolls and some part of the petroleum taxes. I think there are three components. I know it's tolls out of the petroleum taxes. I don't.
You're not too sure of the third one.
And I think that's a little bit of insurance payments. I think so. I stand for correction. All right. So on a year-by-year basis, when tolls are collected, when government takes taxes on petroleum, then like a statutory fund, it is paid into the road fund. All right. But you go and project that this year I will make this and go and take money against that. That is what has happened. So when the money is paid, you owe the bank principal plus interest. So you go ahead and settle the principal plus interest. That is what has happened.
And Judge, I was listening to a president yesterday, and he was saying that the former president misled Ghanaians, saying that there were a number of road infrastructure that were done by his government, etc. During the campaign, he had gone round, he hadn't seen it, and now that he's even still going around, he hasn't seen it. So he didn't know who was misleading who. But suffice to say that the president's visit seemed to have been received adequately and well by the areas that and the residents that he was visiting, wouldn't you say?
Well, good morning. Good morning to our cherished viewers. I would have thought that we're off political season.
You think the president is just politicking?
And that we would be talking to issues that Ghanaians want to deal with immediately. Bread and butter issues. Issues that have to do with our human and fiscal development.
So far, the economy is doing well.
Well, I don't know where you are.
Have other indicators.
I don't know to go and listen again to the last monetary policy committee statement by the governor of the Bank of Ghana. I don't know what figures you are looking at, but he clearly in that report indicated that things are not as good as it should be, and that things are, the dollar has lost value, inflation has
kicked. The CD has lost value, you mean?
Yes, the CD has lost value, inflation has gone up, the indices are not, growth is slumping.
So but year on year they are better.
Listen.
Year on year they are better.
I am saying to you.
Yes, sir.
That go and look at the same period again, the same period, 2016, and compare.
Year on year?
Yes.
Inflation?
Compare. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. So compare. You double the figures and tell us. I've looked at it, so it's nothing new. And I'm not afraid that I'll be contradicted. But having said that, now let's go to the issue we are talking about.
The substantive.
Road fund.
Yes, sir.
Governance is about planning, it's about strategy, it's about the deliverables. We saw that the rate at which our roads were deteriorating, we needed to do some work. So we went before Parliament and introduced the road fund on the energy thing, the 40 pesos. The projection was that we're going to get some amount of money by year end in 2016. So we decided to do some number of projects. Now those projects, whether we borrowed money or not, we had done a projection. I'm sure that whoever we borrowed money from would need to see a certain actuarial accumulation to be happy enough to give us the thing that we want. And so if we've used part of that to go for a facility to upgrade our roads, I am yet to see what is wrong with it. Well, this government has borrowed a lot of money. They've used it for various things. Okay, including, I hear, payment of salaries.
That's speculative.
Listen, bottom line is that they also borrowed money to do something. When you are going to borrow money, there are various vehicles available to you. In this case, we borrow money to do road, and we use road fund as part of our road fund as collateral.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I cannot see anything wrong with it. As to what the president said, that he hasn't seen any road that has been done within the 4 years or whatever years of the NDC or the 8 years of NDC. I leave that to the people of Ghana. What is good about it is that the people of Ghana ply their roads every day, and that in some of the constituencies, I am in Adenta constituency, I drive on roads that have been done, and contracts that have been awarded by the NDC, some are still ongoing. If you come to Adenta, you see it copiously. It's Legon. I drive on a road in my Honorable Ajaku's constituency, which has been asphalted. Okay? Yes. So, for anybody to say that he cannot see, I know that Fufosu, Solar, and other roads have been done. I know that many roads have been done. I have traveled on some. Have can do you travel on that road? I was in Aveme over the weekend, and phenomenal. We've done road to even people's doorsteps.
Oh, really?
Yes, go there, and they are so excited, to the river bank.
But from your doorstep to Wusuta has not been done?
Yes, it has not been done. It was a road that we chased and was at the verge of being awarded.
Okay.
I don't know whether,
now,
I know that roads have been put on hold, so maybe it's one of those. Amfuega town roads have been put on hold, and Choho, Botoku have been put on hold, but all those ones had been awarded during our time. So for anybody to say that they haven't seen any new roads done, I have a problem. But I'll leave that to the people of Ghana to judge. You see, when we are doing politics, in my hometown, they say that when you are a sheep, you see.
When you are
a sheep, and you are shitting all over the place thinking that you are spoiling the environment. You forget that the first place the shit starts is your own bottle. You know, shit. That's exactly what the MPP is doing. This same road fund that they are shouting about. I've said this over and over again. Let them kind of deny that is the 200 and something million cedis they use as seed money for the SHS. Go and find out where they took it from. You go and find. I'm giving you an assignment. Where they took it from? The road fund.
It's not true.
This same road fund.
It's not true.
So you see,
it is not true.
You're accusing.
Master, there is something they call environment. We do it all the time. Sometimes you take money from here to do this, and when it is accumulated, it's replaced.
So you're accusing government
I've said it. I've said that. And I've said this about the 10th radio and TV station. I've said it. Nobody has issued a statement to say that I'm lying. If belatedly they think that they want to issue a statement, they are welcome. But I have said it, and I know what I'm saying. So you see,
I'll find out.
Oh yes, find out, Roland.
Roland.
I think I'll prove you wrong.
Roland,
I think I'll prove you wrong.
Roland, you know what? One of the things our friends in the MPP forget quickly is that we've also been in government. So we know the system. We know what is done. And when things are happening,
you have a lot of people inside.
When things are happening, we know.
Yeah, you have a lot of people
inside. That is why when they issued a statement and say everybody should pay, every district should pay 5,000.
You got to know.
We got to know. And if you hadn't shouted, every district was going to part with 5,000 cedis as appearance fees for the president. Why? When we voted 1.3 billion cedis to the office of the president. And then when the president is visiting the regions, you're asking these assemblies to pay. If we didn't have our systems of getting information, all these things Ghanaians would have not known, and they would have paid. So you see, we have also been in government. When things are happening, we get wind of, we know. Just as when we were in government, when things were happening, they got to know. And today, social media, so it's not too difficult for these things to happen. So okay, really, I am saying that the politics should be over for the MPP. He was right when he says that beyond the elections and the after elections thank you tour, this is a tour by the President of the Republic of Ghana, and it should remain so. When we go, you unite this country by giving the right information to the people. It doesn't kill you. Why? If you go and commission a water project, started in 2013 under John Dramani Mahama, and you go and say that it was President Kufuor who started it, and you leave Mahama out. Let's assume that even President Kufuor has something to do with it. What about the person who came and ensured that the project started? Give credit where credit is due. You are about to hijack it and make it an MPP project as though he is the one who even came to do it. No, there are many projects. The Wa Library, is it a Wa Library? Probably the biggest library in Ghana is yet to be commissioned. Possibly, if all things being equal, to be commissioned by President Nana Akufo-Addo. But it was a John Mahama project. You go and you give credit. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't make your party less attractive. In fact, you could even make your party more attractive by people saying that, oh, this is a sincere president. And that where credit is due, he gives it. Then you are a national, then you are president for Ghana. But when people begin to feel that you choose and pick, then people begin to wonder whether you are the president of the Republic of Ghana or the president of the NPP. So as for me, my advice would be that let's give credit where credit is due.
Okay.
And and look, most of the things that have been spoken about, if we do them sincerely, there will be a convergent point. When they went and took money from road fund for free SHS, why? Free SHS, is it Gambians who came to enjoy it? Or is Sierra Leoneans who came to enjoy it? Is it not Ghanaians?
How do you know they took money from road fund?
Oh, Master Roland, I am telling you that just as you, as a journalist, you don't like disclosing your sources. Me too, I have my sources. Okay?
You are a journalist, so yes.
Yes, I also have my sources. In this case, I'm not operating as a journalist, but I also have my sources. So let's not belabor the point. I'm saying that it was Ghanaian children who did what? Who benefited. So I don't have a problem. Those say that same growth fund was paid by parents. So if you are taking part of that money to do free SHS for the first year, for their children, those who have their children in the first year will benefit. Right? I don't think that you have killed anybody. When the money comes, you can replace it. It is done by all governments. Okay? They've even used money.
But you're saying disclosure is important.
Assuming without admitting. Can I come in?
Even disclosure is not an issue. All I just want to say is that for them to say.
Acknowledgement.
Listen, for them to say that we had used growth fund as collateral to even borrow money to do roads. And I'm saying that they cried there when they took the money. They are not using it for roads for which the fund was established. They've gone to another sector, education. That is the point I'm trying to make. And so it is neither here nor there to even accuse any government for using a fund that will accumulate anyway. And some of these, what is it called? Infrastructure fund. Okay? How is it going to operate? Infrastructure fund is a leveraging fund for projects.
Do they intend to operate the infrastructure fund, even though it's a...
Oh, they haven't scrapped it, and it's ongoing. Money is going in there. We accumulated some money before they came. I think that they are using it for the things that they deem fit. And as I've said already, I don't have the habit of criticizing government policy per se, because that is their policy. People have given them the power to roll out policy. I will criticize if the policy is not being rolled out properly, or I think that maybe it's not thought through properly. But for the policy per se, I will not. That is what they said they will do.
Well, the former roads minister, though, as you add yours to what Inus Afuseni is saying, that apparently they borrowed, of course, but it was not 1.5, 1.2. And rather, as they were living, they left in the road fund 600 million Ghana cedis. So it's not in all truism that apparently nothing was done. You know, sometimes the politicians need to tell us what's real.
Roland, you see, and I think that sometimes the media people must also be a little bit more investigative.
Oh, really?
What did the president say? He said that...
What do you hear him say?
What did the president say? You are the media. I am just trying to parrot what the president said. He said that the previous government used the road fund. What had happened persistently since the inception of the road fund is that year on year, if the road fund accumulated money, it was used essentially. The road fund is mostly for maintenance. This government went outside the scope and used it as collateral to borrow money to do some roads.
Not wrong, is it?
You know, what is the import of what we are saying? So the road fund that comes now, so somebody must ask. I mean, as citizens and not spectators, we have a right to ask, oh, why are you not maintaining the roads? The fund dedicated for maintenance has been advanced use.
Collateralized.
You understand? Is the president, is he telling lies? What he said, is it wrong?
But the president's utterances make it seem as if the actions, one, were wrong, two, they were not for the public good.
I am saying that.
Three, it caused some, perhaps, backward developments for the country.
So today, if you are looking for money to...
If you go and borrow money to go and construct a road somewhere other than maintenance of an existing road, it doesn't make it wrong for the public good.
Roland, substantive, let's bear facts. Is it true or it is not true that the previous government collateralized? Is it true or it's not true?
It is true.
So today, when the money comes into the road fund, it is going because the government is taking the money to do some roads.
It used for servicing something.
Yes.
But it's not all of it. That's the point I'm making. It's not all of it.
already there is a gap. The maintenance budget may probably be about 700, 800 million. You go, let us million. How do you close the gap? How do you fill the gap?
But that is why you have been elected into government.
It is so the president is telling...
You may have seen some of these inadequacies for which you postured yourself to be the well-intentioned government or political party for which you have been elected into government.
I think that what we are discussing this morning...
And I believe that Judge Law is saying that the president needs to stop the politicking and rather concentrate on the subject of...
What is politics about this?
Well, basically going to reiterate the whole refrain about how John Mahama is a bad president, and John Mahama really is off. He's off the books for now.
Yeah,
unless he decides to contest again and he wins power. But now he's off.
So if the president comes to my village,
yes, please.
And that there are potholes and he says, oh, the expectation that ordinarily, what we need to use for the maintenance has already been spent at advance payment. That is why there is a gap. We are looking for money to fill that gap. That is why there is a delay. If the president says this, has he wronged? What is the politics about this?
Well, I do understand.
When he goes to Jirapa, when he goes to Nando, when he goes to Laura, the people have expectations of him as president. Yeah. They will ask, oh, Mr.
Perhaps
President, our roads have not been maintained.
Perhaps he's using the blame game as the excuse to buy time.
No, look, there is not a pot of gold anywhere. Government must find the money. What he's telling them that what the dedicated funds to do this has been used. That is why probably there is a delay. We will find the money. Number two, I say this without equivocation. There's nothing about government going to take road fund money to do free SHS. We also know. I also ask. I know for a fact where the money has come from. So I want you sometimes as journalists to fact check the things that are said here. It is not from the road fund. Okay.
Right. Okay, let's move on to a subject. It's become a bit, not thorny, because it's about the election of MMDCs, and we all want it to come on because we feel that would ensure proper accountability. And we're told that the promise of election of DCEs is not supposed to take place in 2018. We did a story on the subject, I believe, somewhere around June, thereabouts. Now, we're told that the Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, O.B Amoah, is said to have said that that was not the promise of the MPP at all, but then they'll still go ahead. And because also there's been, as far as we're concerned, the shift in the calendar because of what happened in the last local governance elections, that would be the district level election, so to speak. I start with you on the subject. What really did your manifesto say as far as the election of MMDCs are concerned?
I stand for correction. Unfortunately, I don't have my manifesto here, and I don't. But I believe that in our manifesto, we stated clearly, and we must clearly understand that when we put up the manifesto, what the import is that if Ghanaians gave us the mandate, it is a 4-year mandate. What we told the good people of this country is that within that 4 years, we will ensure that MMDCEs are elected. I begin to think, and I choose my words advisedly, that we are all being a little petty. It is 2018, it is 2019. What I want to assure the good people of this country is that the Akufo-Addo government, at the end of its first term, when we go back into elections in December 20, either November 2020 or December 2020, we would have fulfilled the promises we made to the good people of this country, including the fact that MMDCEs are elected 2018, 2019, between 2018 and 2019, before 2020, MMDCEs in this country would have been elected. His Excellency the President promised that he will create new regions. I have sat in this, either this or on some other platform. Didn't he know that there are constitutional processes? The man is an astute lawyer. The man is a legal luminary. He knows that there are processes. But what we are saying is that before we go for elections in 2020, new regions would have been created. Okay. So I think that sometimes times and dates, for me, governance is not an exact science. You see, when you do mathematics, then you can say that the answer is 15.67.
So you're saying that's when we can be precise.
Yeah.
All right. We have on the line the Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, and O.B Amoah. He's also a Member of Parliament for Ikuapem. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Roland.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There have been reports, of course, we have had also earlier on reported on this couple of months back about the election of MMDCs. And since you're in the ministry, I just wanted to pick your mind on this. When precisely are we going to have the election of MMDCs, and what processes do we need to satisfy as far as the regulations and the constitution are concerned before that takes place?
Well, thank you, Roland. Good morning to you and to the panelists. Well, as you said, you did this story far back at June 30th, just before the orientation of MMDC. So you know the story already. But the most important thing is that if you read our manifesto, what we said was that we will ensure that MMDCs are elected and that we will work towards their election to coincide with the next assembly elections. The next assembly election is September 2019. So I was asked by CCFM, because we are quoting them all over the place, that are we on course for the 2018 elections? I said we are not doing any elections in 2018. Our manifesto says 2019. Then they were to put it, to make their own headlines. 2018 is impossible. And everybody is speaking it, and that somehow we are also getting entangled in it when you already know the story, and you should rather be taking credit for what we've already discussed on this matter.
I do understand the import of your last bit as far as we're concerned. And we know that we did the story, of course, so to speak. But the indication to that response would mean that something may have changed. Perhaps that's why the stories had been going around the way they are. But as far as we're concerned, what needs to change as far as the regulations are concerned before we have the election the way they have to be in terms of the elections of the MMDCs?
Once you want to have MMDCs elected, you have to amend the Constitution.
Yeah, we have to.
And amend the relevant laws which are derived from the Constitution. That's number one. Now, in talking about the Constitution, if the election is on non-party basis, then you amend the Constitution because that aspect is non-entrenched. But if it has to be multi-party basis, then Article 55(3) debars parties from getting involved in assembly elections. It means that if you want it to be on party basis, then there should be a referendum. And then the people of Ghana should decide whether the one, which is obvious, one, whether we should elect MMDCs, and two, whether it should be on multi-party basis. So that's the arrangement we're looking at, and we've already even started stakeholders consultation towards that. But as I said, what is clear in the manifesto is that we will let it coincide with the next assembly election, and the next assembly election is September 2019.
The options that you gave, just the normal elections, and then the elections plus whether it has to be on party basis. Which of the options is the position of government?
Well, ideally, I don't want to preempt anything, because as you go around as more or less the moderator and referee in this matter, you want to pick the views of the ordinary Ghanaian. You don't want to impose the views of government on the ordinary Ghanaian. If you read the Constitution Review Commission, it appears the balance was tilting towards multi-party at the local level. But the NDC government, their white paper, rejected it and said that they rather prefer the president choosing 3 people for one of them to be elected as the chief executive. So we may have our preference, but at this stage, we are a bit premature to let it look like you want to impose your preference on the people of Ghana. I'm saying that if after stakeholders consultations across the country, we are able to put across that the people of Ghana want multi-party at the local governance level, then the next step is to let the people of Ghana decide through a referendum that this is what we want. The referendum is very stringent. 40% minimum turnout. At least 75% should have endorsed that amendment of that particular provision. So if we cross that hurdle, then it becomes easier for us to move forward. If the people of Ghana accept it, we go the full of. If the people of Ghana don't accept it, they still have promised that you want to do elections on MMDCEs. So you amend the constitution, let it roll, but on non-partisan basis. That's how the program looks like.
But as you were putting that provision or that promise in your manifesto, you knew there were going to be some hurdles as far as the constitution is concerned, entrenched and unentrenched clauses, etc.
Oh, certainly. You want to reverse what has been going on for some time. And you have to look at the laws and the constitution and know the implications of what you're saying. But there's nothing wrong at all about it. And we are on course.
Okay. Well, we have to let you go, though. But the last one, so as we take a look at the timing, and by 2019, as it is, September, it means that we can meet the timelines, or can't we?
Timelines for electing MMDCEs.
Yes, sir.
Yes, as I said, we are on course. We are working towards that. And I don't know how this 2018 was dropping. I've even seen some Facebook publications by our friends, the NDC. My picture and the president's picture. They've seen the president said 2018, O.B Amoah saying it's impossible. Well, the first place, I've never said anywhere that it's. And secondly, I've referred to the manifesto. Probably the president is very much in a hurry, even than any of us. I'm saying that we stick to the test, and right from day one, as far as I'm concerned, even before speaking to your network in June, I've spoken to other networks earlier, and I was saying that our manifesto says it should coincide with the next assembly election, and that is September 2019.
All right. So now we're at the stakeholder stage, right?
Yes, definitely. We've had one or two, and we are rolling it. And I'm sure you'll be deeply involved in this whole process. But
okay, try and involve us. You haven't involved us, so we're just thinking, perhaps try and involve.
Sorry?
Please involve us.
Oh, you're already involved. Multimedia, except that sometimes I would say that there's a bit disconnect because you did this story and you're letting it look like another network is taking the credit. And then people have been publishing what is not true by saying I said it's impossible, etc. But it's part of the game. Yesterday in the afternoon, I granted interview to Asempa, part of your empire, and I made these points very clear.
All right, thank you very much. Osebun Suama, O.B Amoah is a member of parliament for Ikapim South, but also a deputy minister for local government and rural development. George, that's it, right? Appropriately, George.
I thought I was cut short.
Okay. So you wanted to make some conclusive remarks?
Oh yeah, some conclusion. I think that the deputy minister is spot on. He has put dates and all of it to it. Roland, I think what we should be focusing on is that the president has a 4-year term. He has thought and said that MMDCEs should be elected. I am happy about the way he has explained it. It is not that we are not aware that if we are going to do this, there are major changes we must make to even the constitution. Okay, just like creating regions, all right. But anything that is worth doing is worth doing well. I want to say again that President Akufo-Addo has promised the good people of this country that he will do free SHS. It is here. Nobody. We are not tickling ourselves and saying that it is a smooth ride. It's not easy. Even with our own domestic budgets, we get hiccups sometimes. You don't roll out a major thing like this. I have heard people talk about, and the school buildings are not ready. When Kwame Nkrumah decided that people should do primary school for free, we didn't have all the schools. People went to shift. That is when the shift system started. And today, all of us, some of us who have become quote-unquote big men, are products of the shift system. Okay.
You attended shift?
Well, my school didn't have shift. Okay. So it is on. There are challenges. His Excellency the President was clear. He says that we will falter, but we will not fall. Okay. We will do MMDCEs. By 2020, in November or December, when we go into elections, MMDCEs would have been elected. 2018, 2019, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
Regions, we will do.
George.
Well, I am thrilled by all the submissions by Honorable O.B Amoah and also by my big brother here. Why? Because we can be saying the same thing and we can be on the same page. What matters really is, are we electing our MMDCs or not? But you see, you also ask yourself, why is it a topical issue? It's a topical issue because different people are giving us different dates. And that is where, and I'm happy that he himself said the president may have said it somewhere because the president is in a hurry. Right? So it means that he's not writing out the fact that the president may have said, giving a different date somewhere. And that there are constitutional processes to go through. He was the former chairman of subsidiary legislation, and I worked with him sometimes, so I know that he's a very experienced person, so he knows exactly what he's talking about. But again, the people of Ghana will not have all these details if he hasn't come out to explain. Yes, sometimes, maybe one of the things I've said consistently is that our manifestos we must take them a lot more seriously than we all used to do, because some of the things that we need to put in the programs that we are rolling out are too broad, in that when we ourselves come to the operationalization, then we have these kind of challenges that we have. Bottom line is that you don't get the impression that all the angles are being looked at, because it's now giving you scenarios where they want to go and that they are leaving that to the people of Ghana. Well, it's good to get the people involved, but it's also good to guide the people where you're going.
What do you think?
The same way free SHS, we were of the view, if you read their manifesto, it pointed to the fact that they were having a universal free SHS. Now, it is partially free SHS because there are people who are in SHS who are not enjoying it. You understand?
And for you say it to be progressive, right?
Well, yeah. It's progressive because it's supposed to be progressive.
Kakra.
Yeah, kakra, thought by thought, you know. But then, really, what can you do about it? That is what they are brought, even though the expectation of Ghanaians have not been met in that.
Really?
Of course, most parents for second years and third year were also dancing about, hoping that they would have free. They were not going to pay school fees, but it didn't turn out to be so. So maybe what you were thinking and what you put in your manifesto were two different things. Or better still, as politicians, we know we deliberately presented in such a way as to mislead the people. But that is for you and that is between.
Are you saying
that is between you and the people?
Are you saying that politicians mislead people?
I have said it. Listen, I have said it over and over again. That sometimes politicians, sometimes we talk, and we are surprised that we have said the things that we have said, and no politician to pretend about it.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fact of life.
I don't know about this.
Well, you will know one day. But bottom line is that is a contract between you and the people of Ghana. If they are satisfied with what you are offering them, fine. But we think that some of us are not satisfied with what they say that. But coming back to all these things, I am saying that we look forward to the election of our MMDCEs. But going forward, we should all be speaking from the same page. It confuses the public, and it sends some erroneous.
There should be some asymmetry in
yes,
information.
If your constitution says, if your manifesto says A, let it be A, and let everybody be following A. The president doesn't say one thing, the minister says another thing, the deputy minister says another thing. As it is happening, I think that it is not the best.
Perhaps the president may not have averted his mind to the fact that,
well,
usually it's held mid-term.
You see the point.
But because we had that case of the Futu man sending the EC to court, so it dragged the district level.
In other places, the president is giving thorough briefing before he steps out.
No, I hope you're not implying that.
I haven't said that. I'm saying in other places, the president is giving thorough briefing. But if you, the deputy minister, is saying that the president is in a hurry, so he's going to say something different, I wonder what kind of briefing he received. Because the president cannot receive the right briefing and go out there and say something different. So any president who will do that means that he's not on top of his job. So I'm saying that probably he wasn't briefed. Okay? Bottom line is that it's not one of the things I want to create a mountain about. Right? I mean, really. I mean,
I think.
All right, can we move on? There's a subject of the Public Utilities Workers Union. It concerns the workers of the Electricity Company of Ghana, and it's about the compact. The compact that ultimately is going to lead to a concessionaire coming to take over the management of ECG. As a result of that, the workers seem to be a bit unhappy. Now, they had been complaining consistently over the period. It should be a subject that concerns the Minister of Energy and even government as a whole.
Roland, before you go on,
I
think I just need to make a little correction. Again, it is about speech and how it is reported. You know, this morning, my emphasis in all the things I have tried to do with the road fund is that the president was just being factual. Again, I want to come back with what the president said in WA when he commissioned the water projects. What the president said in WA is that the funding was secured in 2008. Fact. I think we must learn to desegregate the issues. He didn't go there to say that the contract started in 2013.
But in effect, what the president said was that there was an MPP project.
No, he said that. He didn't say that. He said that the funding was secured.
What George is saying, that credit should be given to all who play a critical role.
Roland,
but the funding could have been secured, and the government could have said, we'll implement the project anyway.
Oh, as for the funding, sometimes you secure. Look, I can tell you again, as a matter of fact, that in the last 3 years, the Korean government, in 2013 or 2014, the Korean government extended a line of credit of 200 million. But to date, nothing has happened to that money. Absolutely nothing. It was meant to, for instance, do the university in Somanya and all of this. Government left that one and went out there to Brazil and borrowed money to do it. Commercial. You understand me? So, the point I want to emphasize, now what the president said, he said that the funding was secured in 2008. He is happy that President Kufuor secured the funding. It is his turn to inaugurate it. He didn't take anything away from anybody.
He did. Somebody operationalized the project.
Okay, that's okay. That's why you are here. Now let's speak to do collateral damage to whatever.
Is it true or it is not true that the funding
Mr. Chairman, let's talk to you. Electricity workers. Let's go.
Government is a continuum. What is emphasis? I mean, look, in politics, all of us would place the emphasis for advantage.
For political gain.
Why not?
So you agree?
This is not, but me and you, we are not Salvation Army missionaries. Are we Salvation Army missionaries? We are politicians.
Yeah,
George,
but
did the president say that the project did not start in 2013? He said that he spoke of the funding.
So why did he leave out the starting of the project?
Why?
Because he didn't want to give credit.
Oh, come on.
He didn't want to give credit to John.
But the point I want to make is that the president has been factual.
I am saying that the president
on the issue of the road fund, the president was factual on the issue of the securing of the funding for the Wa and the Kumasi Pristia.
The funding, you have already said that. Look, there are several things that
we're not going. I said we're talking
look,
to you. The way you guys are
the
going.
Bolivar Bridge and all those other money that they are going to do.
Please, let's talk to you.
Our time that
it's
went.
Okay. Yes. Let's talk to you.
It hasn't started. When it does start, and
they
finish
under the Akufo-Addo.
Yeah. And I think that credit should be given that when they came and this thing was there, they operationalized it. So that is the proper thing to do.
So wait. When President Akufo-Addo, maybe in 2021,
Mr. Chamateja,
when President Akufo-Addo goes, he will go and say that, oh, this funding was secured in 2014.
Mr. Chamateja.
No, I said give credit where credit is due.
Electricity workers.
First and foremost,
I gave a tough time to the Minister of Energy, I'm told.
They are in court actually, from what I'm hearing.
It's all right. For me, I think that it is important. I think it is good for democracy. It is good for our country that if you think that your rights have been taken away, if you think that some government has breached your rights, the recourse is the courts. But what I'm a little disconcerted about is that this process started 4 or 5 years ago, isn't it? The compact was signed in 2014 or something, and the issue about private sector participation were all very clear. Today, at the moment, they are doing a second bidders conference. The matter is gone beyond here. But it's okay. Let the courts, let the proper arm of government determine the issues. I don't. The matter is in court. Let's leave it for the court to decide.
Judge.
Again, you see, this
we're talking about the concerns they're raising, not necessarily they want an interpretation of something.
Listen, what I'm just saying in very simple terms is, you see, things don't get to where they get to if there's no precursor. Why this whole ECG business? What is it? I remember that when it started, like he rightly said, and we're dealing with it. What was the NPP's message to the workers? Were they on the same page with us? Did they not say to the workers that, look, you are going to lose your jobs, and then it's not going to benefit you? And I mean, you had all that advocacy on behalf of the workers of, and that at the time they were fighting the mode and the manner in which we were doing it. Okay, I worked on the MIDA bill into law. We had to do some. Hey, come and see. Giddy, 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 giddy. They'll have none of it. Today, I'm happy that the NPP government has realized that these are international agreements. Okay, and that sometimes the terms.
There's a limit to
what you can do. So, as for me, like he said, they are in court. They should go to court for interpretation. But when we were even ready to dialogue and have concession with the workers, they said no, because they were being pushed, because they were being encouraged.
I don't think
today.
So
today, the same MPP believes that, oh, just like us, we had a limitation as to what we can do and what we cannot do. But we were, if we should have time, you will see that when you go line by line, they were going to even benefit better with what we're offering.
So what is it? Is there a lack of education on the part of government or the ministry or?
Well, you see, it is not about lack of education on anybody's part. But when we play politics with everything, it was a political experience in the NPP. Yes, it was. It was just as they did for all the other things. The nursing training, the teacher, all the other things that they said, look, we were doing all that in bad faith. Right? Today, they are even saying that, oh, monies in road fund have been used to collateral. But why? When road fund is there. We have bad roads. People need roads to go into their communities, and we leverage it for a facility and use it to make roads. I don't see what anybody should be complaining about. You should find money to do your maintenance.
We will.
And that is your remit now.
We will.
And I'm saying that the one quickly go and bring the 240 million that you took for the free SHS and put it back so that you can start using that one to do the roads. That is what you should be doing. You are in power. I think that occasion every morning you should pinch yourself and tell yourself, we are in power. We are supposed to solve problems. We don't go around telling people what the problem is.
Every morning,
you are their main opponent, so they can't give you the leeway.
It's not leeway.
Every morning when I wake up, I remind myself that in the 2016 elections, the good people of this country gave Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo 5 million votes. And gave representing almost 54%. And gave Mr. John Dramani Mahama 4 million
That's
votes. Every morning I remind myself. Okay, John. Every morning I remind. Every morning I have it. It's a plaque in my room. I wake up to see it every day. So. The point I am making, you see, all of us must learn. I am insisting on the fact this morning. The fact is that if we raise issues with the compact, it was in the compact negotiation.
The 90-10%.
It was in the compact negotiation. When you were negotiating the compact, we continually we were asking you, have you looked at this? Have you looked at this? Have you considered the impact of this? Have you? But once the compact is signed and sealed,
there's nothing you can.
It is an act of parliament. Indeed, similarly, it is an act of Congress.
You are also aware, Honorable Ejaku, that you can resell from the contract. From the compact.
You want us
if you don't believe in it, that is
in any case,
way to go.
Since we came back, it is a matter of fact. Again, I am insisting on the fact. It is a matter of that we have renegotiated parts of it.
We are saying that
what we offered was better. I refuse. I refuse to hear that one.
It's entirely within your this to refuse. But I'm saying that we have said that
yes, okay, we will agree to the concession, but the concession must be majority Ghanaian. You agreed on something, 20% for Ghana. We are going to say that 51% of it must be Ghanaian.
Listen.
Is this better? What is better?
That what we were offering that. Why are the workers in court? If everything was rollers, why are they in court?
Number two.
Why are they in court?
They are in court over redundancy. Number two.
But there will be redundancy. Right?
I am not sure about this.
There will be some rationalizing.
No, number two. You negotiated for 25 years. We have come to reduce it to 20 years. How can this be better?
Yes, 25 years on certain terms. Go and read the. That's what I said. If you get a full program, compact word by word, and let's see who are the better option. The fact that the years are longer doesn't necessarily make it wrong.
Let's not throw dust into the eyes of the people.
Now the workers are in court.
It's okay.
That's important.
It's okay.
And before the courts, one of the things they accuse government of is acting in bad faith.
What was a bad faith?
You promising so much, and when
what
you
did we promise?
Little.
What is a bad faith?
What do you think?
In any case,
the things that you promise are public knowledge.
Yes, everything we have said is public knowledge.
There will not be issues of.
I was not even here. I was not in town, but I heard the Minister of Energy say very clearly that who has said they are going to sack anybody. But if you ask for redundancy, the implication, severance. I'm not a lawyer. You are a lawyer. When you say severance, my understanding of the English word is that I am severing. I am going away. It is a going concern. So, of course, this is a matter before the court. And
anyway, let's leave the aspect of the severance because all that the workers, just in plain language, is that you say you are bringing a new entity to come and manage. So it means that there should be. There should be an abrogation of that, and then we'll be paid something, and then we'll continue. That kind of thing. And then the assurance of continuity also should be made. Decide. All right, so we have to end the discussions, but not with this. I saw this on the Daily Graphic front page. I wanted to discuss it. Daily Guide. NDC's biometric is bogus. Kwesi Boche report reveals. We're told that the NDC have not released, even to ordinary members or even leading members, some leading members, the Kwesi Botchwey report. But the Daily Guide seem to be coiling things from that supposed report. George Law, I start with you. Is it true? Because I read the story thoroughly.
But how come George Law lost his primaries?
Is it true that, well, members of the party who spoke to the committee when they went round, one of the things they cited was the composition of the biometric register you had for the last election. That's the primaries of the NDC. And was that a main concern in the nooks and cranny, the operational areas or the grassroots areas of the party?
Well, let me start by saying that, well, you've gone into the merits of the issue, but is the headline true?
The headline is wrong.
Who has seen the Kwesi Botchwey? Have you seen it?
No.
Anybody
even the leading NDC members are
anybody who is serializing for the Kwesi Botchwey report
is lying.
Is lying.
Okay. You have not seen it.
Listen, but
even if you've seen it, you are not supposed to say it publicly.
Yeah, but I'm saying but. You see, if you are somebody who also moves around town, all of us have expressed misgivings about the biometric register. Nobody can pretend that that is not in the public domain. So if anybody puts it down as though he had captured a session of the Kwesi Botchwey report, I would disagree with the person. But though I would also not disagree with the fact that most members, including myself, from day one, even before we went biometric, had not been happy with the way we were going to do the biometric register. So to say that it was one of the challenges that we had as a party cannot be an overstatement. But
so it is true.
I'm saying that.
Is it true? Yes,
no.
Is it true?
You see. Is
it true that
I am saying that there are members of the party who feel this way. It doesn't make it a product of the Kwesi Botchwey report.
Okay. So you're saying that
myself.
A concern about the biometric register of the party predates the committee.
Not that predates them, but it's all over the place. If you went into any groupings or a committee meeting or something, somebody will say that he always feels.
Tell me, but per your experience, what were some of the concerns that were raised? I mean, not necessarily from you personally, but were raised about the composition of the biometric register.
We just did the biometric in an open manner. So if you come to my constituency, it's difficult to know who the MPP members are until they are in an MPP t-shirt. Even when they are wearing MPP t-shirt, don't be too sure.
Yeah, sometimes.
And when people are wearing NDC, don't be too sure. For some people, I know somebody who wearing CPP1 and dancing. But when you open a register where everybody works in and registers, it's like compiling the voters register. When you compile the voters register, at that point you know who is NDC or NPP. But that is what happened in our case.
Was it a free, open registration?
Yeah, I mean, it was just the registry.
There was no authentication to find out who was a member or not.
So there were times when, clearly, there were MPP, in my consent, there were MPP branch executives, branch chairmen whose names were in our voters register.
And they voted that day?
Because the thing is that once it's done a voters register, that day, that day, it was said by some, when you call and complain, they tell you that even if Nanado's name is there, allow him to vote. You understand? Because that was the nature of it. So when you live in an area where it's a balance, you can go to the MPP area and ask many MPP people to register to vote for you during primaries. And to be very frank with you, I even though it is not, I haven't seen the Kwesi Botchwey report, and it's not, I cannot say that.
You will not be surprised.
I will not be surprised if it's also one of the major causes to it, because when you go into a primaries voted for by other people of other parties, you are thinking that you are on a roller skater, you are going to win an election, only for your numbers to reduce drastically because they've gone back to their mother parties to vote. Do you understand? So if you are in Ododio and 3,000 more MPP people find their names in your register, you think that, maybe I had 12,000 votes, so that is in the bag for me. Only for them on election day to go and vote.
And is there a possibility that the inclusion of those numbers, the swelling up of those numbers, could have also excluded genuine sympathizers and members of the party?
Too many things happen. You see, there were areas, if you want to do an analysis, there is a polling station where traditionally, anytime NDC goes to the general election, you get 110, and NPP gets maybe 430. Then your biometric register, that polling station has 500 members. She should give you cause for concern. Don't you think so?
So you did the thing, post polling station
Yes,
by polling station?
yes.
Just like the general one?
Yeah, I mean, yes. And I'm saying that, so the members of, suddenly your number has doubled or tripled in a polling station. That is what some of us were worried about. Because this is a place with the smallest numbers, have probably close to the highest number in terms of registration. Some of us decided that, people even said go to court. And I said, no, I don't want to even rock the boat. It's an election. I did what I could do. Nothing happened. Even the day on this thing that they brought, the CD that they brought me was blank.
The CD will be a compilation of the register?
Yeah, it was blank. So what can you do at the so
Roland?
You see, so bottom line is that the register had an issue.
You know, he needs to.
No, we need
I haven't seen.
Yeah,
he's my good friend. He's my older brother, so I talked to him.
Bottom line, we had a problem with our biometric register. I am saying that is what has been put here because they probably spoke to 1 or 2 party members. But to say that it is from the Kwesi report,
that one you are saying lie.
Where's
the paper is here.
Where's the headline?
The headline is here, bogus.
But the headline is saying NDC's biometric is bogus. Roland, sitting and
Kwesi report reveals.
Roland, sitting and listening to my very good friend George,
who will come back to Parliament next year. Well,
is it true or is not true? He has confirmed that the NDC biometric register
has problems.
It's bogus.
I won't use bogus. He has problems. He has problems.
If something has problems, it is bogus.
No, it's not. So
you know, the second
is bogus. He has problems, but it's not bogus.
The second thing is that, George sat here an hour ago and said that all the things that are happening, they have sources and they can find out. I agree. Public servants, we don't tickle ourselves and laugh. From the top, from the chief directors through to the lowest.
You know that they support somebody.
They support somebody. And after you've been in power for 8 years, and after 8 years you have been in another 8 years.
You get experience.
No. You see, people work in the public service for 30 years.
They are there. They are immovable.
The point I am making is that we completely accept and admit that there must be some hardcore, die-hard NDC people in there. You can't, just as there are hardcore, die-hard MPP people in the public service. So, the point I am making is that for George to say that nobody has seen the Kwesi report, it's quite laughable.
Oh, but it is possible. It is possible for news writers to put 2 and 2 together and say, if you have a resonance of concerns among certain groups across a certain territory, it could be in the report.
Roland, in this country,
I'm saying it's not possible.
Roland, whether it is in the NDC period or in the MPP period, sometimes the things that are discussed in cabinet. When they finish cabinet meeting, people know what I know, right? Discussed.
I've been in meetings. I've been in meetings in which the minutes, the content of the meeting is out the next minute.
Somebody is telling. So you are telling me that
we know what steps you have taken to secure the Kwesi report.
Okay. And now let's move on to the next. We have to end.
The point is this: that somebody like my good friend George Lowe, very good guy,
should not have lost.
I mean, he was a fantastic MP when he was.
When he was the MP.
Yeah.
Okay.
He proved his mettle. He lost. I mean, his loss was one of the most big shocks to me in there.
To all of us.
But he explained to me the things that happened, and it's the same thing.
Okay. So what would the party do next? From the experience, not Kwesi matter. I mean, from all the experience of the last time.
Well, we are at the moment we are doing.
I'm trying to run away from
a healing tour, and so there are teams going on.
Particularly concerning
Point of order. But the healing talks. What informs the healing? Is it not from a report?
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
No, you see,
it is just conjecture.
No, Kwesi Botwe report.
Don't be a psychologist.
Kwesi Botwe report. They brought out some, like an executive summary of the things that we need to do.
Oh, that one is, it was
That one is in the public domain.
So if you go, it's one of the things that they suggested.
But so this thing about the biometric is not in the public.
No, because Daily Guide has come up. It says the way the former president was branded. The other one was the relationship of his henchmen with the press, all denied. But those ones who were comments that.
Yeah, listen.
Anyway,
bottom line is that we have a party to reorganize, and we are on it.
Okay.
Yes, at the appropriate time, as and when steps have been taken, we'll let the public know.
But
all you need to do is that the NDC would come up stronger, more united, more solid, and ready in 2020.
But you admit that a lot of the things, actions, are based on the recommendations of the Kwesi Botwe report.
Of course. I mean, some of the things we'll be doing will all be.
Mr. Chamaseja, MPP can take lessons from this because you had also said you would open the electoral college. You know all that talk.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You're still thinking through.
I'm not in the party executive, so I really and truly don't. But we have just finished a conference, and the list of proposals to amend the constitution. There's nothing like this. I think that there's a wise saying that if you see your friends burning, you look for water.
Well, Emmanuel Chamantinge Jako is a member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency. I mean, one of the rich areas in Accra, East Legon, Jowulu, doesn't have poor areas at all.
I do have a lot.
I know you correct me. And then also former member of parliament for North Dine, somebody we're all advocating to go back and contest. He says no, but we'll see. His office is just around here. So George Lowe is here. He's also a legal practitioner. Thanks for joining me, George.
Thank you.
And